Police and Fire Commission meeting for Monday, May 9th, 2022 to order at 4:00 p.m. Item number 2 is a roll call, starting on my right.
Vito, here.
Baker.
Beck.
Baining.
Commissioner Benkowski is ill, so he's excused. Also present are Police Chief Lobby, Fire Chief Kane, and Town Administrator Gebert. Item number 3 is certified posting of the meeting. Greg?
I posted the meeting April 29th, 2022, Daily Tribune at 8:47, Town Hall 12:10, Rome Police 12:10, Rome Fire 12:10, Leicester Library 12:15, Support Edwards State Bank at 12:18.
Thank you.
I have one thing to add.
Okay.
There's been a slight change to your minutes from what I sent out, and so read your minutes.
So
To see the
we'll,
changes?
okay, so when they're, the minutes come up, then we'll open that up for discussion then.
Okay,
Item number 4 is to approve the agenda. Is there a motion?
I motion.
And Pat a second.
Motion by Vito, second by Pat to approve the agenda. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item number 5 is the citizen comment portion of the meeting. We don't have anybody present. Jamie, you have no cards. Okay, then we'll move on to item number 6. Informational updates, meeting recaps, recent correspondence, current events, and announcements. Does anybody have anything they'd like to mention? I do. Next Monday, the 16th, Fire Chief Kane will be sworn in at the business meeting for the fire department.
I thought it was tomorrow.
No, it's Monday the 16th at 6 o'clock.
Oh, okay.
So, so you're all invited.
6 o'clock
6
Monday.
o'clock on Monday the 16th. I don't know if they're gonna feed you or not, but you're invited for the swearing in anyway.
We will have dinner available after the meeting.
All right. So bring your spouse and your grandkids and,
We'll send out the RSVP cards.
okay. Anything else anybody has? Hearing none, then we'll move on to the police department report. Jason?
In April, I attended staff town board, the annual meeting, police and fire commission meetings. Sergeant Upton, Officer Schrock, and Officer Jason attended open records law training with Kyle Gulia for law enforcement records release. Officer Jason attended drug-free Adams County. Officer Sis is in drug recognition expert training in Milwaukee. The cost of that's covered by the state. She had to apply to go to it. She's in the last week testing out this week, and then we'll have that certification at the end of this week. Officers handled 102 calls for service, issued 34 citations and 26 written warnings. I won't read the whole paragraph on the discharge of fireworks. It's the same as it was last time. Recreational vehicles, I'll remind people that operating on State Highway 13 or Highway 73 in any section is illegal. We will have zero tolerance for that, and the officers have been instructed to issue citations to anyone caught riding on the state highways. Also off the report D and other closed county roads, they've been instructed if you're riding on the road and it's closed to get a citation, because it's becoming a problem already this spring. We're completing the boat patrol hiring. When this was written, we were completing it. It's complete now. Those people are on the roster. They'll be training Thursday with Sergeant Upton. Boat patrol will start Memorial Weekend. There's 4 officers. I included,
I think we have a section on, under new business for boat patrol recruitment,
we
if you
can
wanna
do
wait
that
till
then.
then.
Sure. Squads 81, 3, 4, 5, and 6 were damaged in the hailstorm April 12th. We're working to get estimates on the damages. Routine maintenance was done to the rest of the fleet, and that concludes my report.
Can you explain to me or us what is the situation with Officer Schrock? I mean, she's obviously hasn't been to recruit school or anything yet, so how is this being worked out?
Well, none of these people have gone to recruit school. I mean, both us and the Wood County Reserve Program, if we were just gonna hire people that, already had the academy, it's not gonna happen.
Okay.
So we've done the same thing. Josh Paltz, we sent to the academy, who's still on our part-time roster. Cody Darnick was sent to the academy. All those people are coming from the tech college, and they go with Brian and get trained in, firearms. We follow the same thing Wood County does in that and basic training, and then they do the limited work of boat patrol, and then they go to the academy in the fall. And as you've seen, most of them leave. Like O'Hara was another one that was sponsored in the academy, but we had, out of all the people that applied for this boat patrol, the 4 people that were hired, one interviewee had the academy already, and he turned down the interview prior to coming. So, and that's the only person that even applied that had the full degree, cause why would they come here for boat patrol? They can apply and get a full-time job if they've already got that. So that's basically how it works. It's set up through Clark Poggle at Midstate. We don't pay for that academy, we sponsor them in it. The state training and standards pays the bill for the class itself. We don't pay hourly wage or any of that for the academy. We just sponsor them. There's paperwork that's signed that says that.
Your
before they go.
sponsorship gets them into the class with the state having to pay for it then?
Yes, through training and standards has a fund to pay for, no different than like the Milwaukee Police Academy. When they hire somebody, they start the academy, and
Okay.
the state gives a kickback on that. We don't have people at hotels going to it, it's local, but if you had like lodging and stuff, the state pays for the mileage and meals, and we don't deal with that, it's all local people.
Okay.
But that's basically the scoop. All of those boat patrol people that we'll get to are all in the same boat. All of them are sponsored at the academy in
Okay.
the fall.
That clears it up for me, thank you.
Same boat, no pun.
Any, questions for the chief on his report? Okay, hearing nothing, then we'll move on to the fire department report. Chief?
Fire department responded to 11 calls for service in the month of April, including 2 fires, 5 EMS calls, 2 service calls, and 2 false alarms. Currently staffed at 28 members. We foregone our medical training for April and put a fireworks safety program in place to replace that. So that was instructed by Highland Fireworks, and a review of setbacks and safety procedures for the upcoming summer season. We also included equipment placement refreshers, our emergency vehicle operations, and DNR structural branch training for April. I've attended meetings with the Adams County Public Health, Rome Town Board, Ambulance District, Town Administrator, and the Police Chief. Our spring semester classes have begun. We have 2 members that have finished entry-level fire, went directly to Fire 1, and we're currently hosting a driver-operator class here in the town of Rome that is being instructed by Midstate Technical College instructors. Also had 1 member go through the rapid intervention training at basic and advanced. The routine maintenance has been, and inspections were performed. The preventive maintenance and DOT inspections are continuing. 602, engine 602 damaged during a weekly inspection. Compartment was not secured, struck the building on the way out. The repair estimate came in at just over $10,000. The insurance claim has been filed, and there's a copy of the estimate attached with the report today.
What happened? Is it pulled out? What happened?
It has doors that swing up instead of, and not roll up,
Right.
and the latch must not have been completely caught, and as they started to roll, it stood up and hit the door frame on the way out of the building.
Did it damage the door in the building?
It did some damage to the building also, which was repaired immediately. And so we've got that estimate, it's been submitted to the insurance company, and it's just awaiting an appointment to go in and get fixed. Our first semester fire inspections are at approximately 80% completed for our commercial occupancies. Short-term rental inspections continue for the new applicants, and the renewal season is here. Our brush and tree ordinance, multiple property owners have reported that they brought their lots into compliance. That has been reviewed with fire department, police department, and town intern staff. The zones 4 and 5 inspections were also completed by the town intern. We went through an insurance service off. We are in the middle of an insurance service office audit. The insurance service office sets our ISO rating, which affects everybody's homeowner's insurance. So we're in the middle of that review, and we also had a 2% audit to see that we were in compliance with our eligibility for the 2% dues money that we received from the state. And those results came back very positive, and that there's also a copy of that included with your report. That's all I have for today.
What is the DNR structural branch training?
DNR structural branch training is in the event of a large-scale wildfire where the fire departments would be tasked with pre-treating homes to try to let them survive as the fire burnt through. Very similar to the incident command system in structure and then in tactics on how to prevent a house from igniting as the wildfire would burn around it.
Okay.
Did we happen to have a wildland fire just recently?
Yes, we just this past weekend we were out, and also the 2 fires that we had for the month of April were both wildland fires.
Okay,
And there was
It-
training not long ago either, right? In Pittsville, there was training on wildland fires.
Yeah, that was the initial training was for our new members was in March in Pittsville, I believe. So I think we've had 5 so far in the town of Rome this spring.
Do we have anything in place to alert the residents in the event of an evacuation?
Nothing more than social media. And the sheriff's department has a Nixle alert program. But we don't have a audible warning system or anything here in the town. Other than that, it'd be a door-to-door evacuation.
But that would be too time consuming, and you don't have the manpower. And you don't have sirens, cause the trees would interfere with the sirens. But that next thing you're talking about,
Nixle?
Nixle, yeah, I'm familiar with that.
Do you have to sign up for that through the sheriff's office, or does it push out to an area just automatically to cell phones?
The Nixle, I believe, is you have to have that as active on your phone. But I don't know, Jason, does Adams County have reverse 911?
No,
I don't believe so.
I asked one,
I believe
I
that's
talked
in
to-
the
what's-
works.
they don't have the reverse 911. I thought they would have that,
Some of that stuff is in the works now. They're supposed to get new dispatch councils next year, so I only can imagine, I've seen meeting minutes that mention that, so I can't imagine they'd buy a new council and not have that stuff in there, but as of right now, no.
Any other questions for the fire chief? Hearing none. Item number 7 is discussion only items, not needing any action. There's nothing there to talk about. Item number 8 is approval of the April 25th, 2022 meeting minutes. Is there a motion to approve?
I'll motion.
Second?
Pat, a second.
Motion by Vito, second by Pat. Now, discussion? Greg?
yep, I redid them. You all have amended copies that reflect more accurately what went on in that meeting.
So this is the corrected version of what you had originally sent out by email.
That is
Is
correct.
that my understanding?
Yes,
And I think it had to do with the motions, by Pat and Greg, when it came to discussing the, promotion of the fire chief. Was that it?
yes, and on the, roll call vote, all the names have been put in.
Okay. All right, then is there, any other discussion? Hearing none, then all in favor of approving the minutes for April 25th, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item number 9, any agenda items which may include action that may be taken or contemplated. 9A, under old business, is the fire chief promotion. We all know that Mark Kane has been promoted to the position of Rome Fire Chief. And again, his swearing-in ceremony will be Monday, May 16th, 6 o'clock in the big hall down the hallway there. I think we made a good choice, and we're hoping that we have many years of service from Mark.
The only other thing I will add is the official start date for the full-time position would be May 2nd. So 2 years from now, May 2nd, 2022 would be our timeline for completion of any other items.
Okay. And you're familiar with all the other requirements of the position that,
Yep, I've actually made the enrollment into Mid-State.
excellent. Well, again, congratulations on your promotion. Under new business, staffing, Jason touched a little bit about staffing for his patrol division, and Mark's got 28 members in the fire department. Is there anything other than boat patrol that either one of you needs to bring up or regarding the staffing for your departments?
I can just go through the new officers are Helen Schrock, Brianna Jambritz, Alexander Hagamis, and Hunter Boudreau. And as we said earlier, all of those will have to go to the fall academy. And Helen, we have been using her for some community service officer stuff just because she has a higher level of training being in the office 20 hours a week. She knows what the brush, she's the one that's working with the town intern to write the citations on that. That's why on the agenda hers is listed different than the other boat patrol, is just because of her dual role in the,
Those people that you
already.
just mentioned, I'll get those names after the meeting, but, they're all boat patrol?
yes, with the exception Helen's also the administrative assistant, so we've been having her do some community
Okay.
service officer duties.
Yeah,
ordinance tickets.
we can make you a copy of the personnel roster, Greg.
Yeah.
But keep in mind that the information on there is kind of confidential. We don't want it to get out to the public so that they have,
Really, all I need is the names, and I can, honestly, I'll get them.
So
they-
I'll circle the new ones.
Thank you.
Jason, then, do you want to touch on, now, we know that you're gonna be using these people for boat patrol. You're gonna start it soon so that they can be on the water by Memorial Day. Can you just kind of give us an idea as to what type of training that they're going to get, to be boat patrol officers?
Firearms, basic, use of force and DAT. And obviously, as these positions always have been in years past, they're very limited. There's no making traffic stops going to and from the lake. It's strictly boat patrol, so a lot of those tools, some people decide to wear a whole duty belt, but others don't. I mean, if you fall over the side of the boat and you got all
It's a lot of weight.
that gear on, some people, back in the day, these positions weren't sworn. The DNR requires it to be sworn to get the reimbursement. When I started, the chief had people that were civilians, cause they're just writing ordinance tickets, but the DNR has since said no to that if we want reimbursement, so it's pretty limited what their policies allow them to do.
They can write citations though, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Now they have to go over all the software program and stuff, the tracks or whatever is in Spillman and.
Correct, so Helen will work with them on it, as well as Brian and
Can you just, we don't,
Katie
I
Jason.
kinda know what that stuff is, but I don't know the rest of the commissioners. You would just wanna explain what tracks and Spillman
it just
is.
writes the electronic tickets. Trax does. They really don't have access to Spillman, the boat
Okay.
patrol people. They last year they didn't have access to tracks. Either they wrote paper tickets, and this year we're gonna have them come back to the office and do them in tracks, cause they're easier for the DNR to keep track of when we transmit them in.
So then will they be mailed then to the offender, or?
We have a paper copy to give.
Oh, I see,
There's an
okay.
abbreviated copy they get on the lake, then they come back to the office and fill out the whole form that gets mailed, so that we don't have to summons people that don't show up.
Are these tickets like parking tickets?
No, they're,
Because I'm saying if you give it to out of state, when you write a regular traffic citation, you call it Department of Motor Vehicles in conjunction with our state, they work together and they can suspend a license. What is the thing if they just blow this ticket off?
there's three options. They can suspend their license, they.
Their driver's
turn 'em in
license?
SDC, and they can issue warrants for their arrest, so due to COVID, they haven't been issuing warrants. I don't know, the judge, that's out of my realm, that's municipal court.
So in other words, their driver's license is at risk if they don't pay it.
Can be, that's all up to the judge in the municipal court. I have no say in what Judge Thibodeau decides to do with people that don't pay their fine. But he has the options. He certainly can issue warrants, he can turn them to the tax collection agency, and he can suspend driver's license. Which ones he uses on which cases is his discretion.
Do you ever, if you would arrest somebody, either, just not just both patrol or somebody, you stop somebody for operating, give them a speeding ticket and they're out of state. Do you just give them the ticket and let them go, or being that they're out of state, do you bring them back for bail or anything?
Just let them go unless there's a lengthy, history of them not doing it, and things are still not back 100% to normal. The jail just started taking people again, so I don't, people that had active warrants that we stopped from out of state before, sometimes they booked them to try and get the deposit posted, so we had our money, but generally we're just getting back to normal after COVID, so none of that stuff was going on with the whole COVID.
Okay.
So we don't ask for an active bond card?
I didn't hear what you said.
I asked whether they asked for a valid bond card. I used to ask for a bond card, and if they had it, then it became mine.
Exactly.
And that company that was assuring the bond would pay that.
Well, what I can say now is even in the circuit court here, it's rare that there's any kind of bond card or cash bail. 99% of them are signature bonds, and they can be pretty serious things. You go stop somebody that's shooting up methamphetamine, and so again, it's kind of above my pay grade. The judge sets that stuff, and the judge and sheriff, they won't, other than a book and release on a signature bond, no one gets held there unless it's a crime against children, domestic, or involves a firearm or physical violence. Your other crimes against society walk out the door before we can get done at the sheriff's department with our paperwork, so with their signature bond in hand, and they get signature bonds for bail jumping, so but again, I don't make those rules, and I don't think even the local judge here makes those rules. They're set by a panel of judges, and the trend is personal rights over, so they're getting more and more lenient on those things.
Now, on the boat patrol, just weekend, or is it how many hours?
It depends on the weather. We schedule them usually Saturday, Sunday for 10-hour shifts. Start in the very early spring, May and early June, it's probably closer to 8-hour shifts, because the lakes usually aren't that busy with some of the kids still in school the first few weekends, but it's pretty weather dependent. If it's 93 degrees
Yeah.
and hot and sunny and the lake's packed, they work longer than if it's a 65-degree day and cloudy when no one's out there.
What are their normal hours? That are they going to 10 to 6 or 10 to 8?
10 to 6 to start out, and on Sundays we usually do 12 to 6, and the end time is kind of question mark. It
Sure.
depends how busy the lake is.
And you got 2 boats out?
One on holiday weekends, we'll have 2. So the normal weekend one,
And they just, among the three,
rotate between the lakes,
the
yeah,
three lakes?
correct. Generally, unless there's complaints, we don't go out on peat and well.
Okay, any other questions for Jason? Any questions for Mark? Okay, hearing none, and then we're gonna move on to item number 10, what's our next agenda items? Does anybody have anything that they would like to see brought up, specifically at the next meeting? Which would probably be in July, unless something requires us to meet sooner than that. I guess, Greg, then we'll just go with all the normal stuff.
Staffing,
Yeah, or you could get a, maybe if Jason has, how boat patrol update as to how the
Yep.
things are going on the lakes.
So August 16th would be Katie Siz's 1 year
Okay.
probation would be met on that date, so I don't know if you wanna.
Well, okay, so then, we could put how would we word it, the review of Officer Sis?
You'd have to approve her permanent appointment.
we would have to approve her permanent appointment,
So,
but that's it not until August?
August 16th, so I like Katie, Jason, you guys did a month ahead of time and said pending no
Oh,
negative.
okay, so, got it.
You know, I brought up with Jason after the last meeting, a concern that I feel that, having like one man on the streets, I mean, being on the streets when I was on, is not safe. And we talked about that, and I want to know, are we gonna be proactive in expanding the department? Because when you start getting these seasonal people who are more than likely, a lot of them are staying here now full-time because of COVID. They found out they don't have to be working, they can work from home. And I was just curious if we're gonna be proactive or reactive in putting extra members on the department full-time. That's just something I'm throwing out there. Because as I spoke with Jason last meeting I was at, responding to a domestic issue when you got one man on the street is awfully dangerous, along with an activated alarm with one man. And of course, if you're waiting on the county to respond, that could take about 20, maybe 30 minutes. Factor all that in. And when Jason said the violent crimes is not a problem, but I think the volume of crimes is increasing because of the number of people here. We go from 2,500, I think that's our population, right, about 25?
3,000.
Okay, 3,000. To about 15,000 when you have a full-time, everybody here, right? About 15?
We, on a holiday weekend, we estimate 15, so that's not just people with homes, but people visiting.
But I'm just throwing that out there, whether it's a concern, but, I mean, I'd rather be proactive than reactive.
and I think that would be an issue that the town board, Jason would have to request additional officers to the town board, and it would be, I think it would have to be a town board decision to approve additional personnel for them. Or are you talking about just doubling up or making the
Well,
personnel that
you're
we
right,
have?
you're right in what you're saying because it involves budget.
Right. And I think, do you still have a power car or not? So at times, there are two guys on the street. It's, I think it's a very limited amount of time, but I know what you're saying, but again, it's a budgetary issue that's gonna, if it comes to that where there's a real need to add an additional officer or two, that's gonna be a town board discussion. Not something that we can
Okay.
make any headway on, so to speak. We're hiring, firing, and promotion. That's our responsibility. Okay, anything else? Item number 11 then would be next meeting date and time. I have July 11th. It's the second Monday in July at 4 p.m. How does that work for everybody? At least at this point in your lives.
It's fine with me.
1 second.
Okay.
It looks Looks good to me.
Okay, I'll let Bob know. Vito, work all okay for you?
I got my calendar at home.
Okay,
I'll let you know.
that'd be great.
I mean, if I can't make it, I'll let you know. I'll send you an email.
Okay, very good. And then, like I said, I'll let Commissioner Benkowski know, and we'll go from there. So, is there a motion to adjourn?
Pat, I make a motion to adjourn.
I second.
Pat? Vito second on the adjournment. Any other discussion? Hearing none, then all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you, everyone.